Hello, this is Photography Gamer. Welcome back to the channel. Today I will be reviewing the final station for the PlayStation 4. The final station is a retro side-scrolling shooter designed by Oleg Sergeyev. In the game you play a train driver in a dystopian future where strange events are occurring. So the story revolves around your journey as this generic train driver who gets caught up in an apocalyptic event going on around you as your kind of day-to-day life continues. Early in the game, it's very much a pre-apocalypse vibe where small snippets of information give you the sense that something odd is going on in the background. Many years prior to the start of the game, it seems there was some type of extraterrestrial visitation or something like that. The game world is very minimalist and muted in terms of colour and toning. It's a sparse world, and in the beginning everything seems quite chilled, but that all really changes after about an hour or so of playing. The gameplay is classic side-scrolling shooter. You have melee attacks and various guns to aid you in your journey. There are some minor puzzles of sorts, but they are fairly straightforward. It's just, get a key, get through a door kind of vibes, very easy sort of puzzles. The basic gameplay loop is you get in your train, you make sure it doesn't overheat or break down during the journey, you make sure your passengers are fed and have medical kits. Then when you arrive at the next station, you have to find the passcode to allow you to progress to the next station and, get the blockade down. That's where the game becomes more of a combat exploration game. In each station and its surrounding area, there's infected humans who are kind of these dark, gooey creatures that kind of just want to kill you. And you basically have to fight your way through them, find the passcode, scavenge for ammo, food, etc. and then get on your way to the next station. The enemies are similar to zombies, I guess. Some run at you, some have armor, some explode. So it does keep you on your toes to a degree when you're exploring, but it's not as varied as perhaps it could have been. Overall, the game makes you feel quite isolated. Even if you have passengers on your train, you're basically like a waiter / train driver to them. So you're just there to make sure they get to their destination and they have enough supplies to do that. But when you do save the civilians, they do give you different types of rewards like medical kits or ammunition. So you kind of sometimes have to cherry pick who you want to save and who you're going to let bite the dust. The graphics are classic retro style, very muted in terms of colour and the palette. It definitely conveys a depressing mood, and anyone who's read any post-Chernobyl Russian literature will immediately be familiar with this style. It's very Russian in that regard. The levels are quite varied and get progressively more challenging the further you go, but they are very similar, only with some minor differences here and there. The music is very 80s inspired, very synth retro style music. It does fit very well with the style of the game world though. It's very ambient and chilled and it just adds a nice mood to proceedings rather than being like a very bold soundtrack. The sound effects are very loud and kind of brash. Perhaps they could have been a little bit more tactile and smooth around the edges. It does feel a little bit like a little heavy-handed, but it's an indie game and retro, so I guess it was an intentional choice perhaps. It's hard to say really. No real voice acting because there isn't really any verbal dialogue, but there is also good ambience, very minimalist, very kind of like a black and white Eastern European movie style ambience and sound effects. So what's good and what's bad? What's good? It's good value for money because there's quite a lot of gameplay in there. It has a real atmosphere and character to the game world and the story. The music is very nice and ambient and really atmospheric. It's a challenging game. It's not the hardest game in the world, but there are parts where you do struggle a little bit, so it is quite a good challenge. What's bad? The train admin side of things can get very, very tedious very quickly, and the levels, not all, but a lot of them can get quite repetitive at times. So what do I think? I think it's a good game, but it's not a great game. I wouldn't put it in my top 10 indie titles of all time, but that doesn't mean I didn't enjoy playing it. If you enjoy dystopian, bleak, apocalyptic environments in games, if you enjoy kind of shooting, retro games that have mysterious narratives, then I think you would enjoy this game. It's not for everyone. I think a lot of mainstream gamers would get bored quite quickly, but if you're into a more slower approach, more kind of like a Eastern European style, I think then it might be worth a look. So what would I give it out of 10? I'd give The Final Station 7.5 out of 10. It's a very good game with a really interesting style, but it's maybe lacking some more variety that would take it to a higher level score. But it's still a very good game, and I would recommend playing it if you're into indie games, because it is an enjoyable experience and it's very different to anything else I think that I've played recently. Okay, that was the review for Final Station on the PS4. I hope you found it informative and useful. Let me know what you think in the comments. Please like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe, click on the bell, etc, etc. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a great day. This has been Photography Gamer, signing off. Thank you.